What's up my loves? My name is Paige, this is Pages with Paige, and today we're going to be doing 7 on Sunday. Sunday is a Goodreads group created by Grace from Dreesel, and I'll leave a link to both Grace's channel and the Goodreads group in the description box below. Now this week's topic on 7 on Sunday is books that gave us a hangover. So a bookish hangover is when you just don't feel like picking up another book, you're just in a slump and the books just leave you going, whew. So I have 7 books to talk about today and let's dive in. My book hangovers don't usually occur too frequently, mostly because once I finish a book I'll immediately jump into another one regardless of my mood, but I know there are a few that definitely gave me a bit of a hangover. There's 5 main reasons that I will get one. 1, the book itself was absolutely shit. 2, my feelings. Ow. 3, it was a really heavy or just a ongoing sort of miserable sort of book. 4 is it gets me thinking, and 5, I'm just too fucking stupid to deal with the content. So I'm gonna start with the one that led me into a slump because I just felt too stupid to take in the information, and that's Cloud Atlas by David Mitchell. So I really enjoyed the process of reading it, but afterwards I could not pick up another book because I could not think of what had just happened and how it all worked together, and my brain was just so confused that I was like, I can't read another book. My brain's stuck over there trying to figure out what the fuck I just read. That went on for about a week. So I definitely, like, it's fine, I continued to pick things up, but it definitely took me a while to get back into the swing of reading just because it had taken me so long to read and I was so confused. So yeah, definitely was not smart enough to really get it. Next up is one that got me thinking, and that is Horns by Joe Hill. So I kept ruminating on this for ages after I finished reading it. Contextual circumstances, I was dating a Christian guy at the time. There was a lot of conversations around Christianity and the demon, which is very prominent. There's a scene in here, it's like the fire or the gospel of something, and it just resonated home so hard because I had realized that I wasn't missing out on life, but I wasn't doing what I wanted to be doing with the partner that I was with. So there was a lot of thoughts going along with this book, and yeah, so I fell in love with it. I loved the movie, but actually reading the book sort of hit home, and I didn't want to pick anything up for a little while just because I was so like, holy dooly, this was intense. My brain's just focusing on this. Next up is my hard and heavy book. My feelings weren't really hurt, but it was just ongoing heaviness throughout the entirety of the book, and it's not a short one, and that is Assassin's Apprentice by Robin Hobb. So when I read Assassin's Apprentice, it would have been in 2017, 2018, and I didn't get along with it. I was not going to continue on with the rest of the series. It's now one of my favorites, but this one in itself I gave about 3 stars. I was miserable the entire time, and I didn't feel like there was going to be any positive for Fitz, and so it put me in a hangover because it was chunky and I wasn't reading high fantasy at the time religiously as I am now. So it took a lot out of me, and I just couldn't continue on with anything else because I just needed a break. And yeah, so it was mostly my fault, not the books. I think if I reread this now, I would adore it, and it wouldn't put me in a slump, but definitely at the time that I read it, it just gave me a hangover hardcore. The next 3 are Ow, My Feelings. The first being Girl Made of Stars by Ashley Herring Blake. I'm pretty confident I kept reading after this, but I couldn't think of anything else except this book. Ashley Herring Blake cemented herself as a favorite author with this straight off the bat, and yeah, it's one of my favorite books of all time. I think it deals with the topic of rape and with people that you know, the 2 sides to every story, and familial relationships, and just how it all ties together so beautifully. but it hit so hard in the feelings that I know I read other things afterwards, but I do not remember them. It was like in that state of a hangover where you're like, I know I did things, but I have no idea what I did. So that was definitely this book causing that for me, but I adore it so much. And similarly, just a hard lot of feelings. My Dark Vanessa by Kate Elizabeth Russell. Not many books have managed to get me to spiral out in terms of mental health. There's only been this one and another one fairly recently, I think, that have really just, fuck. Yeah, little too close to home, a little too poignant, and just, I could not. I know, again, I continued reading things. I could not tell you what I read. I do not remember much. I think I read Desperate Measures near this, which was great because it's definitely what I needed. That would just be like eating Maccas when you're absolutely hungover. So, yeah. And the last one for all my feels is Saga Volume 9. I'm not going to dwell too much on it, but if you know, you know. I'm glad that it's a comic series. I'm glad that I could just read it and just sit with it. I'm so sad that I'm going to continue sitting with it because it's on a hiatus and we don't know when it's coming back, so there's no resolution in sight. Eventually, maybe. But yeah, so definitely put me in a bit of a slump, a bit of a hangover. Not anything too drastic. With it being a graphic novel, I was just like, cool, moving on. They're nice palette cleansers, but my soul. And finally, I'm just gonna say it's only one that is so crap that it put me in a hangover, and then I read Lawless straight after it, which was not a great book, so that was depressing. But that is 50 Shades Darker by E.L. James. Obviously, I mentioned this a lot. Worst book I've read this year, yada yada yada. Put me in a slump, took me forever to read, and I just had the biggest hangover after reading this because it's so fucking shit. There's a lot of problems, as long as you're aware that it's not great to have a relationship that's like this, we're good. But yeah, definitely struggle street. So these are just 5 books that put me into a reading hangover, with Saga Volume 9 and Cloud Atlas being the other 2. Let me know in the comments, what's a book that put you into a reading hangover? Do you have like different styles of hangovers? If you like this video, feel free to give it a big thumbs up. And if you'd like to see more of this mess, feel free to subscribe, and I'll hopefully see you in my next video. Bye!